In the past 10 years, millions have died in a conflict fuelled by small arms and artillery weapons that are flooding the country.
How many guns have you got on you?
43? And how many bananas? Only 2, because It's regulated.
300,000 people have fled the heavily armed militias and government forces that are fighting for control of the land and its resources.
My
name is Emmanuel Jal, a war child, an ex-child soldier.
We've seen the UN peacekeeping force struggle to protect civilians and contain the well-armed fighters who are being supplied with weapons.
Trade in both bananas and dinosaur bones have international treaties to regulate them, but not guns. Anyone can sell guns and bullets to dictators who regularly use these arms to kill their own people.
There are over 300,000 armed killings outside of conflict each year.
1 person every minute around the world dies from small arms violence.
Because there's absolutely no control over the sale of armaments.
Very often they're used by countries against their own population, their own civilians.
We're not saying that there's no need for arms, we're saying that the trade of it should be regulated.
You know, an international arms treaty is needed and lacking, is not there.
This will be the first opportunity to have a truly global regulation of the international trade in weapons.
Control Arms is a campaign that started back in 2003, and the whole idea initially was that there was this huge gap in international law, that there was no international binding treaty covering regulating the trade of arms.
The UK have been supporting and championing this for quite a while now, and want to continue this support with the UK. So we want to give the message to David Cameron that he's been doing a great job promoting it, but he needs to go all the way.
There's a whole spectrum of how successful the treaty can be, because it can go all the way from the treaty not being successful at all, in the sense that, you know, everyone signs it but they only pay lip service to it and practically do nothing, all the way to the campaign actually managing to prevent human rights abuses by restraining and restricting where arms can be sold.
The final meeting with the UN is in July, so we've got lots of campaigns coming up to try and push this even forward.
So today is a day that we have got all the London groups together, and it's going to be the first important stage of our spring campaign to put pressure for a strong international arms trade treaty. And we're going to create the bulletproof vests that we're going to be using in the next 2 months, trying to put pressure on the UK government to put pressure at the international conference for a strong treaty.
So the bulletproof vest that we've made, we're going to be used in a lot of ways for this campaign. First of all, some of our members are going to lobby their MPs wearing these vests. They're going to take them to their surgeries, they're going to wear the vest, they're hopefully going to get the MPs to wear them, we're going to get them to sign them, and we're going to raise this campaign so they know about how important the bulletproof trade treaty is.
The bulletproof vests are a way for us to visualize and to symbolize where we stand in relation to the arms treaty, and that, you know, there were a way to visualize the protection that an arms trade treaty can offer to people who are at the receiving end of human rights violations that are related to unregulated weapons.
There are actually trade treaties for bananas, for dinosaur bones and for postage stamps, but we don't have one for arms, so that's why we're campaigning for a universal bulletproof arms trade treaty.
And that was the banana shootout idea. The activists who wore the bulletproof vests stood between people who pretended to be human rights violators and their victims. And they all have small statistics that show that, for example, every year 2 bullets are produced for every person on the planet.
So the negotiations from the Arms Trade Treaty start in July at the UN headquarters in New York.
So we need to make sure that the treaty next month is strong and not full of loopholes.
So this means that we can have strong rules covering all weapons.
So we want a robust and bulletproof arms trade treaty.
If it's comprehensive, it means that we won't see any weapons or ammunition slipping through the net and falling into the hands of people who commit human rights abuses.
So the bulletproof vests after today, we're collecting them all together and we're going to take them to 10 Downing Street.
We have MP John McDonnell, who will be collecting these vests, I believe, and hopefully being able to present them to David Cameron.
We're going to present them to the government and show them the effort that's been put into making them and the amount of people that care about this issue.
In a way, we are at the end of the first chapter, because there has been the international movement has managed to put all states on the table, on the UN conference table, to draft such a treaty. But now, of course, the challenge is to have a good treaty, to have a treaty that will be binding and that will be universal.